Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is Stephen A. Smith finally gets called out on TV for disrespecting Kobe Bryant. So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, make sure you go ahead and check out Dreamerspro Max, an online sports community that we created, a place where you can go and start basketball discussions, chat live during games, so many other cool things. So if you guys are interested in that, we have that linked in the description below. And also make sure you go ahead and click the join button to join the channel to become a member of our channel and to receive loyalty badges. Anyway, so let me get into this topic here. Now, some people say, oh, you talk too fast, bro. I'm talking perfectly normal. I'm not on lean. I'm not on anything else. So this is how normal people talk. I'm not trying to rock some of you to sleep. So I just wanted to throw that out there. This is how I normally talk. This is how I'm going to continue talking. So anyway, let me get into this topic here. So everybody knows I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. For those of you guys that have been on this channel for probably the last year and a half, 2 years, you guys know that. I've always maintained that Kobe Bryant is my favorite basketball player of all time. He's one of the top 3 greatest players of all time. For me, I have Jordan, I have Kareem, and then I have Kobe. That's my top 3. Everybody has a different list. Some people have different lists. This is my top 3. I think Kobe was the most skilled player in NBA history. And quite honestly, I don't even think it's close. I don't even think it's close, to be quite honest with you. If you look at his overall game, his shooting, his post game, I mean, it was just ridiculous. Just go watch Kobe Bryant highlights, his defensive abilities. I think I think Kobe Bryant was one of the best players of all time. You know, he was one of the best single possession defenders, on the ball defenders in NBA history. It was just unbelievable. And if you look at his mentality, his approach, the fear factor, his clutch ability, his respect, it was just incredible. And he had one of the greatest careers of any athlete in any sport, period. He had one of the greatest careers. Now, if we look at Kobe Bryant's career accomplishments, for a career, he averaged 25 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 4.7 assists per game. But if you look at his career accomplishments, he's a 5-time champion, 2-time finals MVP, regular season MVP winner, 18-time All-Star, 4-time All-Star game MVP. He's been on 15 All-NBA teams, 11 first NBA teams. Even more impressive than that, he's been on 12 All-Defensive teams and 9 first. 9 first. That ties Michael Jordan. That's 4 more than LeBron James. LeBron made 5 first. This guy made 9 first. So when he played in the NBA, pretty much for close to half a decade, he was one of the best. He was the best defender at his position as shooting guard. Like Kobe wasn't just a scorer. Obviously, he has the second highest scoring game in the history of the NBA with 81 points. He scored that game. He's also been on 3 all-second defensive teams, and he led the league in scoring 2 times. And he was a slam dunk champion contest winner in 1997. And also, if we all remember, he had probably the greatest game of any athlete as far as a retirement game by scoring 60 points in his last game. Pretty much just Kobe. That's just something with Kobe. That's what Kobe would do. Now, listen, as a Kobe Bryant fan, I know this as a matter of fact, that Kobe, one of the things he hated a few things. Number one, he hated lazy people. He said it on many occasions. And another thing he hated was not being associated with winners. He just couldn't stand the fact that he just detested the idea of anyone associating his name with a person that's never won. That was just one of the things he hated. He took it so personally that at one point in his career, for people that have been watching basketball for a while, they'll know, there was a point in Kobe's career when he was being compared to Ray Allen, and he took it personally. He was like, don't compare me to no Ray Allen. And he would go at Ray Allen personally on the court to prove a point. Like, me and this dude are not the same. Right? He took exception to that. And that's very Michael Jordan-esque. I remember when Jordan was being compared to Clyde Drexler, and Jordan took it personally too. So Kobe was on a different level, man. And as I said, Kobe and winning, they needed to be synonymous. He just couldn't stand it. He just couldn't stand being compared or associated to players that never won anything. It's just something he really, really detested. And so when I heard some of the comments that were made about Kobe recently, I was up in arms. Now, we all know Stephen A. Smith is known for a lot of the things that he says. He's known for saying things for shock value. This seems to be his MO. It's something I can't stand, because when you're on the biggest platform in the world as far as sports and ESPN, you don't need to overcompensate. You can be yourself. You can make great points, but you don't need to start turning into like a clickbait master. Like it's unnecessary. You already have the audience. Some people that do that are for people that don't have an audience. When you have an audience, literally all you got to do is be entertaining and just, say smart things. But Stephen A. Smith, he recently came out and said that Donovan Mitchell was better than Karl Malone after like 3 games in the playoffs. And you're like, what? Like, who says something like this? Who do you know that says this type of stuff except Stephen A. Smith? And then the new one was Devin Booker is the new Kobe Bryant. And that's when I lost it. Now, for people that are casual fans, they may be like, well, I don't see what you're saying. But for somebody that's a Kobe Bryant fan, you would take offense to that, because it takes a lot more than having a mid-range jump shot to be Kobe Bryant. I'm sorry. There's a lot more that goes into it. But before I go too far, there was an audio yesterday of Stephen A. Smith being called out on TV, finally, by someone who's a former basketball player who actually said, wait a minute, this is absurd. I heard this. I'm going to spit out my tea, my drink when I heard this. So before we go too far, take a listen to Stephen A. Smith being called out for saying that Devin Booker is the next Kobe Bryant. Take a listen to that.
Where are you, sir, on Stephen A. comparing Booker to Kobe?
You know what, Molly? I was actually walking through the airport, and I stopped, and I was grabbing something to eat, watching First Take. And I sit up here, and I said to myself, okay, this is the Senior Citizens Day, okay? They had Stephen A., Max, and Magic on there. And when Stephen A. uttered those words, not you, Molly, not you. When Stephen A. uttered those words out of his mouth, and I saw Magic and Max co-signing, yep, and then Magic over there doing, yeah. I was sitting up there and I was appalled. For the simple fact that, look, I'm not taking anything away from Devin Booker. Offensively, he's talented. He has 0 flaws. He has mid-range. He has a pull-up tray. He can handle. He can get to the basket. He has all of that. But when you talk about the great Kobe Bryant and what separates them two, I'm going to just stick to this point. Kobe Bryant was a menace, not just on the offensive end, Molly and Stephen A. and Max, but on the defensive side of things. We're talking about a guy that has 12 NBA all defensive teams, 9 of them first team. I mean, look, listen. Kobe Bryant, right, was Michael Jordan 2.0 on the perimeter with his skill set. And on the low block, he was Akeem Olajuwon in a 6'6" frame body, okay? Let's not get it twisted. We talking about arguably the most skilled guy to ever touch the damn basketball. I would not just grant and put Devin Booker in that conversation with Kobe Bryant. Not just yet. I cannot do it. And I'm not about to listen to it.
Now, in that soundbite, you can clearly hear Kendrick Perkins say, okay, wait a minute. What's going on here? He's like, do you actually know how good Kobe Bryant was? Like, do you know Kobe wasn't just about scoring? I know Devin Booker has a 70-point game in the loss, but he's like, do you know Kobe was just not about scoring? Do you know Kobe Bryant was one of the most skilled players of all time? Do you know he was one of the most mentally tough players of all time? Do you also know that he was one of the greatest defenders of all time? And oh, by the way, do you know that Kobe Bryant is a 5-time champion? Do you know that? And I think Kendrick Perkins' argument was, wait a minute, this is too soon. Let the guy go to the finals and win one championship first before we start comparing him to one of the 5 greatest players to ever play the sport. Like, how about we allow that to happen? How about we allow that to happen? And I think he has a great point. Because winning matters. Results matter. Longevity matters. You don't have one great year and then all of a sudden people start comparing you to the greatest. It makes no sense. It's like, for any of you that are into filmmaking, right? For any of you that are into filmmaking, and let's say you want to be a director and you direct a movie, and let's say that movie does $300 million in the box office and is your first big blockbuster. And then all of a sudden people go, is this guy's the next James Cameron? You're like, what? Oh, he's the next Spielberg. You're like, wait, what? Spielberg that made movies for like 3 decades, Jaws, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, E.T., all of these, and then off of one movie, you're ready to start comparing them to Steven Spielberg or James Cameron, somebody that did Terminator, Avatar, Titanic, just off of one movie. That's how it sounds. It's like, wait a minute, what? That's all it took, especially when there are other players out there that are more deserving of such a comparison, who am I going to bring up? I just thought it was too much, and it was unnecessary. And it was like, you didn't need to say that. You could have said everything. You could have given your analysis. You could have said, this guy is great. But you didn't need to say that. You know you only said that to rile people up and get people in their feelings. You know that's the only reason you said it. Like, let's just be honest. And for him to come out there and say, oh, he's the next Kobe. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? He's the next Kobe. What are you talking? And I think, like, we got to get out of that. And for me, I'm just happy that he called him out. And as a Kobe Bryant fan, I just think it's just way too premature. It's way too premature. It's like somebody comparing Kawhi to Jordan. Yes, I can see the comparisons, but Kawhi needs at least 3-4 rings, man. Seriously, I'm sorry. Now, you can have the games, but you got to have some jewelry to go. It's not just how you play. It's about your accomplishments too. Those things need to match up. Otherwise, we can be comparing people all day long. But you gotta accomplish something. You got to. And I just think it's absurd. It's like a new rapper comes out, the dude has 1 or 2 great years, and you're ready to say, oh, this guy's the nigga Jay-Z. No. Like, come on, cut it out. Like, we got to stop that. And those are just my opinions, and I just think it's just way too premature, and I just think Stephen A. Smith doesn't need to be, you don't need to say that. Like, you don't need to say these kind of things. You just already finished saying Devin Booker is better than Karl Malone, which is one of the most irresponsible comments you can make in basketball. Some people corrected me, he's the 2nd greatest scorer of all time. And somebody has 1 playoff run and you're ready to compare him to Karl Malone? Like, what? What, like? Anyway, those are my thoughts and opinions on this. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about this? Do you think it's disrespectful to Kobe, or do you think, oh, yeah, I can see the comparisons? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.